Ever since my channel started gaining popularity, I've gotten the same question multiple times. What controller do I use and what controller would I recommend to people that want to improve their gameplay? And I've answered the same way every time. I use the Scuf Replex FPS, and while I can't recommend it to anyone because it breaks, that is the one that I personally am comfortable with. But I've been on the hunt for the past couple of years looking for the best controller on the market, and I think I finally found it. I'm talking about a brand that some of you may already know, known as HYPR Controllers. They reached out to me and said they wanted me to get my hands on one of their controllers to try it out, and the rest is history. I've been loving it and using it ever since, and it's much better than the Scuf Reflex. And I actually have one in hand that I'm going to be giving away to one of you guys who are watching this video right now, and I'll explain that here a little bit later. So let's talk about the pros and cons of all the different pro controllers that I've tried and why HYPR completely clears the rest of the competition. Now, as you can see here in front of me, I have 5 different controllers. These are all made by Scuf, and these all have had different issues that I'm going to go over. But this is the one I want to talk about. This is the souped up, the most expensive controller on Scuf's website, the Scuf Replex FPS. So I'm going to quickly talk about why I no longer recommend Scufs to anybody. So I do want to say first and foremost that the Scuf Replex FPS does have my favorite type of paddles. These are the most user-friendly in my opinion, and I wish everywhere had this type of paddles. But other than that, it's just your standard pro controller. The issue that has arisen with every Scuf Reflex that pretty much everyone on the planet has is something that Scuf has yet to even address. So not only did every controller that I've gotten have stick drift within the first month, that's understandable. That's a problem with a lot of controllers. The real issue comes with the paddles. This button right here, this paddle is for my reload button. Problem is when you click it, if I go to reload in game, 9 times out of 10, I have to press that paddle again before I can press anything else. If I don't press it twice, then nothing else is registering and my player's stuck in mud. I'm not sprinting, I can't shoot, I can just walk. That's kind of a big problem, especially in a game like Black Ops 6 that's fully based on movement. You do not want to be stuck with one of these controllers. So that's why I had to move away from Scuf. I've spent nearly $2,000 on their controllers just for all of them to break with the same issue. And the main problem that I have with it is that Scuf has yet to even talk about it. I've also tried the Scuf Envision, and it's to me very uncomfortable to hold. I already got rid of it, but I recently got an aim controller from their website, and that was over $300. And within a few weeks, I don't have it anymore. Their paddles stick out so far from the controller that you have to kind of like move your whole hand to press them. Not comfortable for me. Good quality. They didn't ship my controller very quickly either, even though I told them I need it for content, so I was hoping they would let me know if it was going to be late. They said it'll be there on time, and 2 months later, I finally got it. So bad experience all around. And then here comes the savior and what today's video is all about. I received an email from HYPR Controllers, and all they said was they wanted to get me a controller in my hands to try out. They sent me a free controller, but they didn't pay me, and they didn't send me a script or anything like that to read from. They just wanted my honest review for a video, so here we go. First things first, nice little magnetic box. You open it up, it says welcome to performance. Now, under the controller we do have some extra buttons as well. First of all, let me talk about how great HYPR Controllers is. So first thing I want to show you is the back buttons right here. This is basically your paddles, but they use mechanical buttons instead. And as you can see, this is a little low. You actually operate these paddles with your middle finger up here and the ring finger, which this is the only controller I've ever seen that utilizes your ring finger, so it's very unique in that aspect. However, that wasn't comfortable for me personally. Now it might be, but me, I'm just used to the middle finger. So I asked them if they could send me a replacement, and I could send this one back. But I got an idea and I said, hey, what would you guys think if I gave this controller away to one of my viewers? And they were all the way on board. Instead of sending us back that fully souped up pro controller, how about you give it away to one of your viewers for free? So I'm going to tell you guys how you can enter that here in just a second. The second controller I received from them, here's the design on it. It is absolutely gorgeous. The camera's not doing it a ton of justice. As you can see, the PlayStation home button for them has their HYPR logo on it, which is really cool because as you can see on the Scuf, it's just the regular home button. But let me talk about all the features on this controller real quick, and then we'll talk about how you guys can win this one. And again, completely free. I'm not gonna make anyone pay shipping or anything like that. I'm sending it straight to you. So the first feature I want to talk about that's super important to me and other people who play the game somewhat competitively at times, and even other people as well, is, as you can hear, it does have instant triggers. Now, I did mention to them when I first received this controller, I said something about these instant triggers feels unique. It feels like it's higher quality than what's on the Scuf. The Scuf kind of feels literally like you're clicking a mouse. It feels really flimsy, and actually on one of my Scufs in the background there, one of them's broke. One of the instant triggers is broken. What I was told is that these are custom made switches on these, so that's why it feels so unique and it feels so high quality, because it is. They actually put in the effort to make a better instant trigger than what we get on Scufs. The next thing I want to talk about is this grip. Now, it doesn't matter to a lot of people, but to me, it matters big time. Got some extra lighting here. So the grip on the back of the controller, as you can see, it's a bunch of little dots. And for someone like me, my hands sweat a ton So with this grip, for me, this has been the best grip on any controller I've ever used. I'll show you the one on the Scuf. It's decent, but as you can see, it's really large, and I don't know, it's just not quite as comfortable. But yeah, really prefer the grip, and it's on both of them. As you can see, here's the difference between where the rear buttons are located. Obviously a lot lower on this one for the ring finger, which is very unique. Like I said, I've never seen anywhere else have that option, so I think that's really cool. Now moving on to my next feature that I do want to talk about, the ease of remapping. This is important to me because I have no idea how to remap the back paddles on this, which remap means change what these back buttons do. I don't even know how to do it. This is so easy. All you do is hold your PlayStation home button until this side of the controller glows purple. So if I plug it in, it would do that for you. Once it glows purple, you just hold the back button and then press whatever button you want it to be assigned to. And once you're done, you hold the home button again and you're done. That's it. That's how you remap it. You can do it just like that. It takes 2 seconds. Next thing that I love is they have Hall effect thumbsticks. They also have TMR, which is very similar. If you don't know what Hall effect sticks are, it basically is a way to eliminate the idea of stick drift happening. So if I understand it correctly, the standard thumbsticks on controllers like this use kind of a resistance tape kind of thing to help make your analogs snap back into place. That's where stick drift comes in. Once that kind of wears down, your controller can kind of stick, the analog can basically stick in a certain spot that you don't want it to be. With Hall effect, it's magnetic, so it kind of just zaps right back into place. Now you can't notice on camera the difference, but it just zaps back into place due to the magnets or whatever makes it magnetized. But another thing that it does is it helps improve your aim. It makes it to where you can be more precise with your recoil control and your, any type of aiming really, because it has a little bit more tension, and you can definitely feel the difference. But it's not like a noticeable difference where you're like, man, I gotta get used to this, it's gonna take time. Within the first game or two, my aim felt actually better than what I'm used to. You're telling me you can get Hall effect sticks to make it to where you don't have to worry about stick drift, and you also can improve your accuracy while getting a controller that's not gonna break within the first 2 weeks. And if it does, they have a year warranty, they have a year stick drift warranty, they have a 7-day free replacement policy that you can take advantage of. I have no complaints about this company. As far as the controller goes, I have one small complaint. I've been offered by controller companies in the past a payment to talk well about their controllers, and I've turned it down because I cannot promote something I don't believe in. I totally believe in this. With that being said, I have to be completely honest about it, and the one complaint that I have about this controller, this is the Scuf, right? And I've talked about already how these are the most comfortable paddles to me. You don't have to click very hard. There's a lot of range on them. It's kind of tap them, but you also can't accidentally click them. They're not too soft. With the buttons on the back, although they are very comfortable, don't get me wrong, it's not going to affect my gameplay. I do have to click the buttons a little bit harder than I would like to. When I YY, kind of spam this paddle, and it just YYs, and it keeps my fingers moving, it keeps me warmed up, keeps me in the zone. Whereas with this, I can't really do it with the button because it kind of sticks down. So if there's any complaint I have, I wish they could make up paddles like this. But other than that, I'll take it. It's a fair trade-off. If I'm rating the controllers, the aim controller that I hadn't got rid of, I give them a 3. This Scuf Envision, I give it a solid like a 7. It's just very uncomfortable to hold. The Scuf Replex FPS, I would give them a 5 just because they all break within the first couple weeks. But the paddles, I give these paddles a 10 out of 10. They're perfect. This controller, everything about it, I give it a 9.5. Again, it's the most high quality controller I've ever held in my hands, and you can look me in my eyes. I promise you, you will not be disappointed by the quality of this controller. They do have other options for these, so we're going to talk about that here in a moment. Now on to the giveaway. How can you win this controller? It's very simple. I've done this before on the channel. Like the video, subscribe, hit the share button under the video, hit copy link, or send it to someone that you want to send it to. Either way, either one will get you entered into the giveaway. If you don't have anyone to send the video to, just hit copy link and then comment the word shared. And if you already are commenting something else, add the word shared into your comment. You'll be added into the giveaway. That's it, you're done. And if anyone reaches out to you and claims they're me and you won the giveaway, it's not me. I'm not gonna reach out to you. I'm gonna make a community post on my channel within the next couple of weeks showing me spinning a wheel to pick the winner at random, and then they're gonna be able to reach out to me on Twitter so I can ship them this controller. Win this controller, it can be all yours. It is a perfect, beautiful controller to use for Black Ops 6, and we're gonna let Gwen hold it here in the background until someone gets it in their possession. Top link in the description should be hyprcontrollers.com/redix or something along those lines, so you can get 5% off your order. Now you can, if you don't want to customize your own, you can go in and get a pre-built controller, but let's go ahead and look at what the customization options look like. So if you want a PS5 controller, hit customize. I'm just going to quickly run through it all. Feel free to go to their website and take a look at what all they have. So if you want what I have, here's the mechanical buttons. They can either do 2 or 4 lowest, which is the ring finger, or 4 low, which is what I have for the middle finger. Both are very comfortable. Again, for me, it just takes a little bit of getting used to with them being buttons instead of paddles. Another option they have though is the Flex Pro, which is paddles. I haven't tried theirs yet. With aim controllers, this portion of it, the little spider paddles, like I said, it's stuck out from the controller. It looks like HYPR has theirs attached to the back of the controller. You know, maybe theirs is better. Next time I get a controller from HYPR, I'm gonna get this paddle configuration and I'm gonna review it so that, you know, I know basically if it's worth recommending to you guys or not. But it does look better than the one that AIM sent me, so I'm kind of excited to try these out someday. You can get the remap chip like I talked about, or you can go no remap chip and just pick where you want your buttons to be mapped to. You can even map, like I said, R3, L3 can be mapped to the back of your controller, things like that, to really utilize different button combinations for when you're gaming. You can do adaptive triggers if you play more like story mode type of games, or you can go quick triggers if you want for FPSs like I do. I recommend it personally. Speaking of recommending it, here's the Hall effect and TMR electromagnetic options. I recommend the TMR electromagnetic. I just think it's more worth it. But I have Hall effect in this specific controller and I love the way it feels. It completely gets rid of the idea of stick drift happening, so you're going to be able to have this controller for much longer. There's different levels of tuning. There's different plates. You can go with colors. They have good options. I really like the lavender. Like, we could go with lavender with like a white trim. That looks pretty good. You could change the button colors, obviously. You know, let's say we want to go with like a white touchpad. I mean, look, you can already see kind of what the vision could look like. But if you don't want to go with colors, they have some designer options out right now. I really like this airbrush one, and it even looks good with the white, with the different white touches that I just put on. I'm hoping to have my own design up here soon. That would be really cool, but otherwise, I'm sure they will be adding more designs throughout the year. So make sure you keep coming back and checking. Different trim colors, could be gold, could be pink, just all sorts of options. And that's kind of what I want to get at. They have multiple different thumbstick shapes and sizes that you can go with. You can change the color of it. Let's say we want like a PS5 Pro red thumbstick here, and on the left side we want a DualSense Edge, and then we want to make that green, and we want to change the glide rings to white. The glide rings on mine here are orange. I think that looks really good. Like, you can do so many things. You can make the buttons matte, you can make them crystal, so many different options, and we're not even close to done. You can get the rumbles removed, which I think is a great idea. They give you a nice preview of it in the box there, a nice 3D image of it. As you can see, here's the 1-year warranty, 1-year stick drift warranty, 7-day free replacement, and their shipping time is about standard for what it usually should be in the industry. But again, AIM controllers took multiple months to ship theirs to me. Scuf has taken multiple months in the past as well. I've already received 2 controllers from HYPR, and I've only been talking to them for the past month now. So I think they'll do a good job of getting it straight to you. And not only that, it's going to come out as cheaper than what you're going to pay for a Scuf, even though it's a higher quality controller. So in most cases, you're going to pay less for more. This can be yours. Make sure you enter the giveaway by sharing the video and then commenting the word shared. Also, I'm going to have the winner contact me through Twitter or X, so make sure you follow me at Redix_. The link is in the description. But all in all, HYPR controller, 9.5 out of 10, and I have a very stingy rating scale. I mean, I can't give these controllers anything too crazy. This to me is the closest. The Scuf Envision is the closest to being in a good competition with the HYPR, but look at how, I mean, this controller is massive. It's just a very uncomfortable controller. For some reason they have a spot for like a touchpad, but there's no touchpad, so it feels like there's just extra space being taken up. I could never get used to it. I tried and I just couldn't. I'm also getting my viewers 5% off, like I said, thanks to HYPR controllers. So if you guys want that, use code REDIX at checkout or hit that top link in the description, and I think it automatically applies it at checkout. If you guys are looking for the best pro controller for Black Ops 6, I genuinely recommend the HYPR controller. I'm glad I finally have a controller company that I can recommend to people. Like me personally, I would recommend they create some paddle options like this for people like me who prefer them. Is there anything that you guys want to recommend to them that I can actually let them know about? If you see a comment down below, if someone has something that you think is a good idea, like their comment so I could send it the way of HYPR controllers so that they can see what they can do better, what they can improve on. I'm sure they'd like to hear your guys' feedback.